At exactly 7:00 GMT on 4 February 2026, Buckingham Palace released a formal declaration after 3 days of mounting strain. The wording was spare, but it cut cleanly. We seek to continue negotiations in good faith, with priority given to the protection of underage family members and the preservation of royal integrity. It is unacceptable for children to be placed at the center of media narratives for strategic or commercial gain. The Duke of Sussex has committed to observing legal protocols and respecting future rulings. Dialogue remains possible, but only when rooted in truth. Nothing about the timing was accidental. Fewer than 30 hours earlier, at 21:47 PST on 2 February, Meghan Markle had posted an Instagram video montage from Montecito. The footage appeared intimate, home-recorded, and was accompanied by a caption crediting her 4-year-old daughter, Lili, as the videographer. The post formed part of a carousel that also included images from a Disneyland visit on January 24, a Santa Barbara Zoo outing on January 27, and an unpublished crayon note bearing a single word: family asterisk. To palace observers, the pattern was unmistakable: narrative inconsistency, emotional leverage, and what was increasingly viewed as the strategic exposure of minors. On the morning of February 1, Princess Anne had received a confidential ethics briefing prepared by Dame Ruth Vane, director of the Royal Institute for Child Protection. The report flagged troubling reversals in Meghan's public messaging and online behavior. That same day, Prince William convened a closed legal session at Sandringham with Sir Malcolm Westerly, the family's lead counsel, and issued a personal memorandum. We must separate narrative from guardianship. There is a line, it has now been crossed. Meghan returned to Los Angeles from Dubai aboard a private flight chartered under her newly formed brand, Elara Group. Publicly, the trip was framed as investment and philanthropy. Subsequent reports confirmed luxury branding consultations at the Burj Al Arab and a gala appearance at the Women of Power Summit at Dubai Marina on January 30. Crucially, no formal notice of her return was given to Prince Harry's legal team, despite informal agreements tied to ongoing custody discussions. When the video appeared hours later on February 2, captioned "Shot by Our Little Angel," concern hardened into resolve. Palace sources say Princess Anne called Clarence House at 04:45 on February 4 and requested that the Queen's response shift from private caution to public stance. Prince William, who had remained silent throughout Meghan's Dubai travels, reportedly told a senior aide, "This isn't a media issue. It's about safeguarding children, constitutional clarity, and moral precedent." The decision to issue the February 4 statement was taken during a midnight strategy meeting in Sandringham's Red Drawing Room. Present were William, Anne, Sir Malcolm, 2 child welfare advisors, and the Queen's Director of Communications. The conclusion was firm: the monarchy would no longer maneuver around contradictions. Archie and Lilibet's welfare would not be bartered through sentiment or surrendered to digital storytelling. Though Meghan's legal and media teams issued no immediate response, PR analysts suggested the Instagram post was designed to preempt an expected tightening of custodial boundaries. Maro Addison, a Geneva-based brand behaviorist, told The Telegraph, "This was not accidental, it was an emotional intercept, an attempt to reclaim moral ground ahead of legal decisions. But that ground is shifting. Each cinematic reveal risks severing not only ties with Harry, but what remains of Windsor goodwill." By the early hours of 3 February 2026, the man once labelled the reluctant royal had entered a different phase. Prince Harry's response came not through interviews or crafted statements, but through silence and a sudden return to the United Kingdom. At 05:42 GMT, a chartered flight from Geneva landed at RAF North under heavy cloud. Harry disembarked alone, unshaven, in a wax canvas jacket and black cap, with no visible security detail. The absence of spectacle was striking. He did not go to Frogmore or Clarence House. Instead, he travelled directly to Fort Belvedere, his great-grandfather's former Windsor estate, now designated for private crisis consultations. Those present described the atmosphere as cold, tense, and inward-looking. The return had been planned. On February 1, Harry attended a closed session of the International Family Law Congress in Geneva, which that year featured a private panel on digital exploitation in parental conflict, co-chaired by Sir Alaric Wexford and Dame Sonia Balaji. Harry attended quietly as an observer, asking detailed questions about digital consent, psychological proximity bias, and child-initiated content in adversarial custody cases. He was not seeking sympathy, he was charting a path. That path surfaced less than 48 hours later, when his counsel, Hugo Bradshaw QC, filed an internal proposal with the Royal Household Custodial Ethics Board. The document requested institutional recognition of what Harry termed *parental asymmetry in digital responsibility. On February 3, Harry met Princess Anne privately in the crypt library at St. George's Chapel. Only 4 aides were aware. Anne emerged with a single remark to Clark: "He's not grieving. He's repositioning." Soon after, Prince William was seen travelling to Sandringham with a draft letter supporting Harry's petition to restrict all media exposure of underage royals without formal approval. It marked the first joint custodial action endorsed by the brothers in 2 years. William's reasoning, according to a palace source, was blunt: the public deserves boundaries, not breadcrumbs. If we fail to protect our children from becoming symbols, the crown becomes complicit. Those close to Harry describe him as exhausted, controlled, and resolute. He eats in silence. He speaks only to his lawyer and Princess Anne. One staffer said, "There's sadness, yes, but more than that, a resolve that's hardened. He's done correcting the past. Now he's securing the future." The same source described Harry replaying the Instagram footage frame by frame. When asked what he thought, he replied simply, "I don't ask what's real anymore. I ask what's safe." Meghan, meanwhile, had not responded directly to revised custodial filings. Her most recent message, sent January 29 through a Dubai-based firm, rejected any suggestion that her content was strategic. "Motherhood is not subject to monarchy," it read. "My identity cannot be redrafted by protocol." To Harry's legal team, it was the final signal that reconciliation through dialogue had ended. The palace confirmed that on February 10, Princess Anne would chair a custodial conduct summit at Sandringham, bringing together High Court family law experts, digital rights attorneys, and child psychologists. Harry was scheduled to submit a 48-page affidavit outlining concerns about identity confusion and trauma by proxy. Meghan was invited. As of February 4, she had neither confirmed attendance nor responded to document requests. The February 4 statement, then, was not symbolic. It signaled institutional alignment behind Harry's custodial campaign and re-established a firm boundary against digital ambiguity cloaked in maternal warmth. As one former Privy Council advisor put it, "This is no longer a family feud, it's a constitutional firewall," and for the first time Harry was not asking for help. He was drawing the perimeter himself. By dawn on February 4, the Montecito estate felt less like a sanctuary and more like a fortress in retreat. Phones switched to encrypted apps. Advisors were instructed not to speak. A communications team once expansive shrank to 4. The damage was not only reputational, it was strategic. Inside Elara Group, Meghan's luxury and leadership brand, an emergency board meeting convened in Santa Monica. 2 board members raised concerns that her social media activity violated neutrality clauses agreed with UAE partners. "You can't preach empowerment abroad while leveraging vulnerable imagery at home," one reportedly warned. "That's not cohesion, that's volatility." A planned February 15 gala was postponed. Several Gulf influencers unfollowed her account overnight. High-profile allies grew quiet. Serena Williams declined comment. Oprah Winfrey made no mention of Meghan in her newsletter. Tyler Perry was reportedly unreachable. A Beverly Hills publicist summarized the shift. "You can feel the oxygen leave when a client goes from misunderstood icon to potential liability." Inside Montecito, Meghan was described as calm but defiant, spending hours alone reviewing briefs and writing in a notebook titled *Legacy Threads*. She reportedly refused to attend the February 10 summit, telling advisors, "That table doesn't deserve my chair." Her legal team prepared a counter-affidavit invoking maternal autonomy and challenging the Crown's moral authority on child privacy. Even some defenders expressed doubt. "This is Diana versus paparazzi," one former associate said. "This is Meghan versus a framework she helped dismantle." Media sentiment hardened. British and Commonwealth outlets emphasized child protection. The Times ran an editorial titled "The Children Must Come First*. The BBC compared royal childrearing practices. noting the contrast between limited, approved images from the Wales family and Meghan's extensive postings. Even CNN hosted a segment on digital motherhood ethics. Quietly, a new body was activated, the Royal Monitoring Council for Public Harm Assessment, composed of legal advisors, psychologists, and AI content analysts. 4 of Meghan's posts, including the February 2 video, were flagged as *red-level narrative conflation. Princess Anne reportedly said, "We are no longer measuring optics. We are measuring damage." As the Sandringham summit approached, the conflict evolved into a battle over legacy itself. Polling showed growing support for Harry's position in the UK and Commonwealth. Analysts agreed on one point: narratives built for Instagram do not survive cross-examination. By February 10, a cold mist hung over Sandringham as security gates closed. No press, no cameras. Only sealed briefcases and stone-faced delegates. Meghan did not attend. Her legal team submitted a final dossier minutes before proceedings began. By mid-afternoon, the panel reached its decision. A digital guardianship framework was formally endorsed. All future media involving Archie and Lilibet would require joint panel approval. Monetized content was prohibited. The UK was designated primary custodial jurisdiction. Authority was rebalanced. In her closing remarks, Princess Anne said, "We are not here to silence experience, but to protect those who cannot yet consent to the weight of legacy. This is not retribution. It is preservation." A sealed document now rests in the Royal Archives, titled *Custodial Protocol, Heirs of the Digital Age*. Its opening line reads, "Where legacy intersects with media, duty must outrank visibility." And with that, the Crown turned the page.